Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the great shows of AEW wrestling. We are your hosts. I am Morg. This is
Clever Sabriquiat Matt Strange, and this is the Joshi Snatcher.
Muir. I guess that's why I'm now.
oh yes.
Fucking sniped you this time, bro.
Okay, well, just because I enjoy good women's wrestling, and you can suffer the stuff we have to watch.
More on that later.
More on that later. How have you both been this week?
I've watched
Okay.
too much wrestling.
I have watched a lot of wrestling, but not as much as Muir. I think you're at the bottom of the amount of wrestling watched this week.
Yeah, because we
week,
both
Morg.
watched Talking Shop, finally. Talking Shop.
And you watched a fuckload of Joshis.
I've watched like 4 or 5 hours of Joshi wrestling after I started watching the tournament. I was like, do I hate women's wrestling or do I just hate this?
I've watched some Shingo. That's just because I want to follow him into battle. You know,
Shingo is great.
It's just warlord shaped, mate. Otherwise, just gaming and cooking slowly in the sun. Oh, I started writing a skirmish war game. Just throw that in here.
Out of pure anger of what's on offer.
Yes. You wait till the roleplay game next year after I've lost my shit at D&D 5 edition and too much, and I start just go, no more fun for anybody. I'm writing a miserable 80s system. It's really gritty.
Oh, God.
Thousands of rules and tables.
Well, currently it's my skirmish isn't thousands of rules and tables. It does have a lot of rules and tables because I'm borrowing from slaves. Hi, welcome to my miniature wargaming podcast. Yeah, I'm inspired by Slaves to Darkness and Dark Souls, so I'm whacking that into basically Frost Gravy.
Look at this Grog trying to make a fun system for the kids.
Your people mutate; they might die out of nowhere. Yay!
Oh, God.
If it goes well, I'm going to write a wrestling one. How does that sound? Then you can each have a mob of big angry luchadors and I don't know, high-speed goths that beat each other up, and I'll bring us back around to wrestling with that. That's
good.
What a segue.
Yes. So this may be the first time you've listened to our podcast, and as such, you would need to know that we have a tier list, which is how we rank the matches on Dynamite and how we overall rank the shows, Dark, etc. And Mr. Strange will now explain that tier list to you in some strange medium of which I am not aware.
Well, I did hint at what I was doing last week. That's right. It's a tier list explained via plants I've managed to kill merely by owning them. So, tier lists. You're bound to have seen them on the internet and such like. You might not have. And you might know them from certain Japanese computer games. Actually comes from the Japanese school system, kind of similar to the European school system. Don't know about the American school system. We work up in essentially letter-based grades. We start with a D. A D is a bad match or a bad story. I've not had a good time, and I've not really got anything out of it. Like the long succulent. A little succulent plant I brought and took home, and it's dead. Give them a reasonable amount of sun, a little bit of water in the dry months. No, just dead. A C match is obviously what we come to expect from a match. I'm expecting a good match for a C, not like an average or I can watch it. I want like a good match. That's what we should expect. There should be a little bit of story there. There should be good wrestling there. We should care. Like my Venus flytraps, a specialist plant I got. Tried to look after, kept them in the correct UVB light because I have an iguana that has those. We got a little bit of life out of it. It had some fight. It even caught a fly. Week later, dead. A B match. We're looking for a little bit more exceptional story or the wrestling just to be really good. Great, in fact. If we've got both at a higher tier than I expect for a C, but both of them are like taking my eyes onto it and I don't look away, that's what I want from a B match. Bit of backstory, bit of a fight. Like Ruth's bunny ears cactus. A little cactus she had for like 5 years before she moved in with me. I looked after it, gave it a little bit of feed, it was in the right place, and then the one day I moved it into a different plot. See, we've got backstory, we've got advancement. Week later, dead. An A match has everything we want. We've got great story. The wrestling's phenomenal. It's carried in every area. It's the show of the night, the match of the night, the main event, but you care about it. You'll talk about it for a few weeks after. It's going to stand out. We've got story, great wrestling. Everything's come together into a little piece of art. Like the time I bought a carnivorous pitcher plant, having learned from my Venus flytraps. This time, got a water filter, special feed, kept it in the right light. It even also caught a spider. Everything was looking for good. We had it for about a month. Then I looked in one day and that spider was rotting. I've never seen a spider rot before. 2 weeks later, dead. An S-rank match are the phenomenal ones, the ones that stand out in every fucking way. They've got great promo work, the story arcs are there. We've probably got the conclusion to a story. The match is phenomenal. We'll talk about it for years. Standout things in wrestling as a whole, things you will remember, like my big succulent, which was a succulent that I brought home. Looks a bit weak. Tried feeding it up and such like. Started bending over and falling into pieces. So I had to take it apart and wire it back together. Then loads of it died, but like some little bits were left. And I got it all round. I put it out and I've recently put it into a different pot, put it in a different thing. I've given it the feed. To that day, the succulent still lives. That's right. It's broken the paradigm. It's an S-rank story. So that's how we rank matches in plants I've killed.
All I have to say on this matter is one of my orchids got trapped at his house over the COVID-19 crisis of us all being locked in, and it nearly died. And now it's like fully flowering and perfect back now. It's with me. You just killed the plant.
It was in the right sun. It had orchid feed in it. I swapped everything to keep it on it. Dead.
Now it's flowering again. You cursed.
So,
welcome to my botany podcast.
And that was 50 seconds for the over 50s.
Good work, strong.
So moving on then. So the week news in AEW. So what news do we have, Mr. Strange? Do you have any bits?
I have a couple of things, but I think some of you have some of them, and one of them is going to roll into a little bit afterwards, I think. Brian Pillman trying to get out of his MLW contract. Seen a lot of Brian Pillman lately. He's obviously got that reputation and name. If you don't know from the 80s, just Google Pillman's got a gun, I suppose.
Is it really a contract if you're not paying the person the money they are contracted to be, you know?
They've not paid him. MLW have not paid him, and they're not answering to it, like responding to any of his like calls or emails or anything. So he's like, legally I'm under contract, but also not. So I think I think Pillman's obviously going to try to get an AEW push. Also, he was great in Talking Shop and Mania.
It was his best match I've seen him in. And what was it called? The social distancing Royal Rumble.
We'll see how that works out, because obviously other news is going to interact with the TNT stuff. Who wants the next bit?
Go on, Morg.
Yes, moving on from that, that's like a segue. TNT has fired Kevin Riley. He was one of the executives that was a major supporter of AEW and getting them that contract in the first case. Meltzer has suggested that this is actually big news. You might not think it is, but it is. This is one of the people that's been backing AEW. I think they're pulling good figures, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. Hopefully other executives are going to look at some of the figures they're pulling and specifically look at what they're pulling against Raw and NXT.
TV's such a weird, fickle thing, so
it's also an in with the Khans, so you never know, because they've got other sports teams and stuff. There's probably other value in negotiable media terms there. I'm not a TV sportsman.
And they're doing very well in the correct demographics, but it depends. It really does. You know, TV shows have been cancelled for less. That's all I've got to say. So it is something that could be very serious or something that doesn't matter at all.
I think that's it's either important or it's not. We'll get more news probably off. I can't call him Meme Magoo, Dave Meltzer, internet, and short.
Mumbly Magoo.
Better people who have news sources than us. Sammy's in shit.
Yeah.
Sammy, after
not the best luck, has he?
When we were watching the scene, this will lead into describing the moment. There is a scene in this week's Dynamite, soon to be discussed, where Sammy yeets a chair full bore into Matt Hardy's face. Then, when we saw all the blood, Ruth and I were like, "Oh," she was like, "Oh, he must have bladed." And I was like, "That seems like a lot of blood just for there." No, it turns out there was a safe chair to throw and an unsafe chair to throw.
So what is this the record on chairs being thrown by AEW stars?
Specifically worked chairs.
What is the percentage that they pulled this off at? Is it 2-0 that they haven't pulled this off yet?
Rebby, is it Rebby? Hardy's missus?
Rebby Hardy, yes.
Well known for screamed on Twitter about it, calling Sammy someone like a fucking idiot. On the other hand, we do a lot of geeky things. We've done like LARPs and other theatrical style things throughout our lives. If you had like somebody who was going to hit something with a real sword, but you wanted a fake sword by it, so they could do the swing, would you A, put them next to each other, or B, only put the fake sword there?
Only put the fake sword there. Why was there a real chair for this real spot? They knew the spot was coming. Why was a real chair there?
But either way, there's a bunch of Twitter bants going backwards and forwards. Matt said some like worky, shooty things about he'll get some stiff punishment. Sammy's put up some stuff basically about, fuck you, look at the blood on my shit. So it looks like it's worked, but it's been worked in a very shooty way, and that always makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's like having a real fighting arena in the bottom of your wrestling thing. It would be ludicrous and devalue the other thing.
This is the real fighting, Oh, God.
Oh, something that goes a bit underground, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. This is where the real fighting is. But are these giant men not real fighters? No, that's the fake real fighting, not like the real fake real fighting. Sammy might be in shit, but I imagine Matt's cool with it. I mean, he's done a lot of shit with his brother, and I can't imagine
I can't imagine he's never made a mistake in his life,
Yeah, exactly. And I think the final piece of... I've just talked over you guys today. Sorry, does anybody want the final piece of news?
No,
I think this moves over to you and goes into social media, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
This would be our part where we would go into our social media of the week. I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Strange because you've got more information on this, being our Twitterer.
Being the man who follows this shit. Hi there, people who use Twitter. Please try to be less fucking awful.
It's not possible.
This week saw the proper big release of the AEW Heels thing, which is to allow female fans to interact with female wrestlers, go have seminars and conference calls with them, interact with other members of the wrestling community who are women's. Good, great. You need that representation. I am all here for it. Unfortunately, they had the audacity to charge $49 annually for it.
Oh no!
And fucking people kicked off. Holy shit! I'm sorry. I'm slipping into that rage way I talk, or I get sarcastic.
I don't understand this. I don't understand from a logical point of view of paying a whole £50 for a year's worth of seminars and exposure to these stars.
So I'll give the examples. A lot of people in response to this, there were two sides. Some people were saying things like, "But you can get a Stardom you can get a Stardom thing for only $9 a month."
Yeah.
And people are like, "Yes, only $9, not like this $49." Now, I'm sorry, Americans, I'm going to have to explain to you, $9 a month for a period of a year
is more than
$49.99 annually.
I'm glad I can help here as a trained accountant.
Cheers, bro. There's 12 months. Now, just let me do a little bit of math. That's $108. That's twice.
Also, as much as I love Stardom, you don't get to talk to the Stardom stars for that money. You just get to watch the show.
So, all of these angry fucking people on the
Idiots.
internet.
I'm sorry.
Just fucking started shrieking at Brandy, and
it sounds like a bunch of butthurt blokes who wanted Skype shows with female wrestlers.
I'm going to be honest. It was at least 60% women complaining about it as well. But women were also the strongest defenders of it. They were like, the strongest defenders, but also the mass of the mob. These people, it's their job. Just take,
2 hours out of your time to go talk to these fans.
Just for free, for free, and then amazingly, and amazing. I'm just gonna have to be a little bit like lightly edge-tastic. More progressive mob, which is what is generally armed on Twitter. I like to think of myself as a progressive person, but not part of the progressive mob. Successfully bullied African-American woman off Twitter for trying to build something to build female talent. Fucking genius. Jesus Christ. Because they didn't want to pay £4 a month to speak to their wrestlers. Fucking Charlotte Flair's cameos are $450 for 3 minutes.
Mate, I would happily pay £50 a year to be able to just talk to Chucky T once for like 2 hours.
It's £100 to have Scott Steiner say he's gonna say anything you want, and then he's gonna sleep with your wife. Because that's what all of this did. That's Scott Steiner. And fucking lols, I'd pay £100 to have Scott Steiner insult one of you two. But for is American money in 10 unit denominations, like slash 100 units? Okay, cool. Yeah. So what? $4.09? Whatever. £4, £4 American pounds.
It's just ridiculous to expect these people to, do
Stop
something.
being assholes on Twitter. I mean, I know Cody doesn't help, and they do like to backtalk a bit. But you know what? When you're getting
they're a bit too carny for their own good sometimes. They want to fight it out, but still, people need to realize these are professionals. They're not just people that are taking time out of their day. They are paid to work here, so they do deserve some sort of thing. And also, you get to talk to these stars and, listen to Brandy and talk to Brandy. Like, you could get over, like, whatever you're doing in the real world to them. And it's like into a business as well. You're just an idiot for thinking this is overpriced. I'm sorry.
I'm a trained chef, and if somebody wanted me to go and cook for them in their house, I'd expect to charge £12 to £15 an hour minimum. And that's just lowballing.
And we all know chefs are paid like fucking shit.
Yeah. I'm not a famous fucking wrestler. So, ladies, if you are a fan of female wrestling and you wish to encourage and support female wrestlers and the growing industry that we hope will improve, more on that later, do consider subscribing to AEW Heels. It's $49.99 annually. That's a year. And you will get the ability to have seminars, discussions with a variety of different female wrestlers. You will be able to have an easier way to interact with other female wrestling fans. And it's a way to grow a community and support that industry. If you're interested in wrestling, you will maybe be able to get tips. Or, in honesty, I know people like bonding with celebrities. It's not for me at all, but this seems like a really good way to do it if you want to support the women in the growing women's scene being put forward by AEW. A round of applause for AEW Heels from me.
Yeah, exactly. It's just baffling to me. Like, I've been to seminars that cost a lot more just to interact with like accountants, not famous wrestlers. It's massively stupid. I'm sorry.
£20 to go to the Good Food Show, and that's one day.
Yes, mate.
Right, let's move on. I think we've run.
I think
Morg had a point. We were ranting away too hard.
Sorry, Morg.
So, moving on, it is time for the reviews. And slight change this week because we're going to add an extra bit in. And I believe we'll probably be adding this in over the next few weeks. We'll keep it dead straight. The first of the women's tag tournament was on.
Sure.
What were your general thoughts on?
We're starting on episode? Okay, cool. Right, let me find my notes. Yeah.
Don't know who Medusa is.
I apologise, but this is the order I watched them in, not
That's
necessarily the order they were released in.
Medusa was the WWF wrestling women's champion that went over to WCW at the start of the wars and put the belt in the bin. Strange.
Oh, that one. Yeah, cool.
That's who Medusa is. Alexa Blaze?
Alundra Blaze.
Alundra Blaze, sorry, yeah, my mistake.
A little bit sad it's a cup and no belts. I'm just going to bring that in. But we've had things like the diamond ring before, so it's showing a different way of doing shit. So I'm not massively against it. I just like women's tag belts.
You just want to see women progression.
Yeah, exactly. Melanie versus Brally.
Why
is Ali the face now? I'm so confused.
Yeah, the end of that
storytelling
was very strange.
I just slapped that on it. That's fine, isn't it? Oh God, Mel's bad. Mel is bad.
I really like her finisher. I just don't enjoy anything else.
It had more hair pulling than a 90s fucking bra and panties match, that match. The first one.
Right. I'm going to go with good points before we get critical. Ford's been working on a ring character. She's a lot more winky at the character's snarky facial expressions. I noticed that's quite good. Penelope and Ali actually pretty good together.
They were really good together. And also Brandy was doing really well. She was just unfortunately against Mel, which did not help with the no sell of anything she did.
Ruth did bring up a very interesting question for me, which is... Why is Mel angry that her hair was shaved 6 months ago? Why hasn't it grown back? It's just perm shaved.
She used the same demonic orange juice that's on that coat, and it just keeps her hair short forever.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was all right, but
it
fine.
Was okay, yeah. It was nothing to write home about, but it was a fine enough start. It was good.
Simon's expert. Go.
It was all right. Penelope's facial expressions are now amazing. She's getting up to Alexa Bliss level of facial expressions. The promo at the end.
Picked up on that because I thought it.
The promo at the end confused the crap out of me.
Which one? The Brandy one?
Yeah, is it set up because Cody's about to turn heel and it's easier to have them both? Because we thought this when Brandy suddenly turned face when they dropped the Nightmare Family. That makes it's much more difficult to have Cody and Brandy and have one of them face and one of them heel. Problem is that Brandy's she's a really good heel, but she's really lovely if you watch a shot of Brandy. She's a genuinely nice person.
Going for a shoot personality, because everybody on Twitter and such is always saying she's all about herself and selfish and stuff. So if you make that your personality and turn it into a heel, you've basically got free heat. Yeah. Good heat, not bad heat. Well, it could be, but
that's
intentionally good heat. I'm willing to watch more on that before it was strange, you're not wrong, but
I don't understand why, but maybe later on, I don't know. I just feel it's a very hard turn from Brandy being white face baby meat, and then now to this. It's a bit weird jumping from there.
White face baby meat?
White meat baby face.
Brain work good, yo.
Next one.
Then we had the second match. What did you guys think of that one?
God, Nyla carried this match. Fair play to her.
Yeah. I like the fact the Dark Order came out with Anna Jay.
Baller. Yeah.
It was really cool. Nyla's friend actually wasn't too bad. I didn't know. The match, I'm not going to read out the full title of the match, but it is versus Nyla and friends. Conti's strikes need work, but Anna Jay's neckbreaker was pretty badass.
It's a shoot fighter, so she's probably very wary of actually, hurting people.
Yeah, I think it was fine. Once again, not amazing. Team Marketable is going to do well in pop culture's eyes, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Team Marketable, you mean the two very, very pretty ladies?
Yes, yeah.
Let's just be honest about this.
Yeah, you got to be fair.
I really liked how they just worked over one of Nyla's legs the whole match. I thought that was really good.
Cool.
Yeah, I really liked that from it. I think this was slightly better than the other match. I enjoyed this one. I actually thought Nyla did really well, and so did her mate.
I was surprised by X Cameron. I can't remember what her new name is, or her real name.
I was surprised. She was the one that did the awful pin. She tried to pin someone on their belly, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, yes. She's the awful one.
Yes.
I thought she was.
She has improved.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I liked the story, the in-match storytelling, and I was surprised by the ending.
They've got to get rid of all their single stars out of this tag team tournament.
Yeah,
I did not expect Nyla's team to lose.
I did not either, but then
you were like Ruth. Ruth was like the first match. She was like, "Well, Penelope's got to win," and I was like, "No." And then she was like, "And Nyla's got to win," and I was like, "No, you've got to get your single stars out, so the tag league stars build up that and put the others into singly shit." So then, so the next. Once we've got the next base 4 out, we'll be down to essentially who are going to be the name tag team people, in my opinion.
Yeah. Overall, do we think it gets a rank?
I gave it a flat C for.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I thought it was a C, and I'm not as much as later on we're going to make comments. More on that later. It wasn't as awesome as I would have liked. I would have liked it to have been a B. I would have liked it to have been a bit more shocking, a bit more surprising. Had I not known that Taya Conti was in it, and then that might have, because I think we spoke about her last week, then I might have had a bit more of a Mark moment because I do quite like her.
I think it was a lot better than an All Right deserved to be with the talent in the rings. Like, I thought they did very well. I thought it was really good work scenes. You know, they got such a.
It was solid, but it wasn't the bang we wanted to start.
Yeah, we wanted it to be amazing.
Good tag team league.
Yeah.
Tag team league.
And then we got the second Brandy heel promo, which was like, what are you doing?
I did like the fact that they ended them with the promos as well, so that you had a chance to get some characters across, especially with Anna Jay and Ty. I think it's Ty Conte. She used to be Tyna.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm getting very tongue-tied. So you got a little bit of there,
mate. So
yeah.
Sorry, on.
I was covering for you. So I liked that because we got a bit of character work over. We got an idea of their characters. I'm intrigued because Anna Jay's Dark Order. You've now got the idea of we are the pretty team, so team marketable is interesting.
They just need experience in the ring.
I mean, they're making up for the men's side of bald men with beards. Not that there's anything wrong if you're a handsome bald man with a beard. Fair play to you. But,
you leave our Lord and Savior John Silver alone.
Don't you mean Stu Gregson?
No.
Oh God, this ugly piece of shit.
So moving on from the women's tag tournament, we move on to BTE, or Being the Elite. My notes for this week's BTE are just, it was very silly, and me and the Raptor both like silly, so we quite enjoyed it. So I think you two are probably going to be a little bit more critical. What were your thoughts on it?
The 50 sex for 50 plus was freaking brilliant and probably made Cornette very happy.
The starting one. Oh, I've actually not got notes on this, so I'm going to do what I normally do. Follow your guys' lead and
okay, so I'm the one with the notes here. I'll carry this then. Don't worry.
Bro.
Okay, Cage was fucking hilarious, just being this normal guy in a normal world. I thought it was brilliant.
Fucking breakfast.
Just a pile of eggs.
There's a meme on 4chan about a dude who tries to eat, I think it's 6 dozen eggs or whatever it is, and they're like, don't do them on, you'll die. Yeah, he tries to do the Gaston.
Yeah.
And it's just all it reminded me of. I was like, Jesus, this man is legit Gaston.
He's ridiculous, and I just loved him just when they're like walking along, and it's like, I hope they've got a 4XL t-shirt for Cage. He's just walking behind them looking sad and stuff like that. Oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah, great.
Beaver Boys with the Bibles, in quotes. Was brilliant. I enjoyed it, the Kane and Undertaker bit.
Yeah.
It was a bit...
It wasn't the best. I think I'm so used to more hilarious ones from them. It was solid.
I like that they thought that they were going to get someone jobbing for them on Dynamite, which was good. Great. Trying to force Christopher Daniels to carry the 50-plus thing was good also.
I've already been 50 for 4 days or whatever it was.
I'm the worst 50-year-old. I read comic books and I lose arguments against my kid.
It was great. I don't know how to broach this, but Kenny Omega's milk drinking.
That was weird.
That was so Japan, it was painful.
I love it. I think I've seen so much FTR, I've kind of phased them out of my mind.
I'm bored of them. After watching Talkashow for Mania, you know my feelings of which tag team we should have got. I like the Dark Order's fight about that you're number 5, you don't even count. The thing that Jungle Boy was actually in
Jungle
the dressing room
was fabulous. Why is John Silver a fucking idiot? The Dark Order bits are probably the best bits. Did we have the Best Friends murder next?
That went on for too long.
I had a good time. It could have been shorter.
Yeah.
And the Kenny screaming as he came into his own room could have been played in more. But otherwise, yeah, I had a good time.
It was solid, yeah. I enjoyed it enough, you know?
Chucky with the belt round his neck. I'm pretty sure he was saying jerk him off at one point.
He was. And then he was saying put the cake on his dick as well.
Oh, God, he's just a child. More on the childishness of the Best Friends and plot lines later, I suppose.
100%.
And
was there more to the BTE?
We had the Matt Hardy and Young Bucks hallucinating segment.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, no, that was really good, actually. I enjoyed that they couldn't actually see it. It was all just a hallucination whenever Matt came in.
The Matt Hardy stuff just gets weirder and weirder. Especially... More on that later.
Right.
So overall, what do we think for BTE?
Good.
Good enough. Yeah.
Watch it. It was a laugh.
What do we go for? Sorry, B?
B.
Yeah.
B for Brandon's murder.
So moving on from BTE, we move on to Dark. What did you think of Dark this week? What score did you give it overall?
I gave it a solid C. There was one match that disappointed me, and the rest should have been cut shorter to give more time for that match.
Yeah, let's just have a look. Hobbs versus Sky. I don't like Hobbs squashes.
No, I wanted to see at least 5 minutes of Hobbs. I thought, that would have been a great match to put him over a bit because Sky's fucking amazing. So Sky would have been able to help put him over. And it would
have been nice if they clipped Sky's promo onto Dynamite so that it could have been seen by more people.
Now you see, I didn't mind it being on Dark because it was specific to Dark and it added a promo to Dark.
I mean, he's got a point there.
Yeah, I'm with it, but you could have just clipped a part of it into the
main I see what you mean. Yes, they should have done a This Week on Dark. Yes.
Yeah. Scorpio Sky said this, and yeah, cool.
Before he just came out and went, ooh, I like belt.
I like belt. Gun Club versus Solo and Serpentico. I only have 2 notes, which is, solid. I like Faymasses. I do fucking love a Faymasser. It looks great.
Yeah, it was solid enough. Like the Gun Club, I'm always going to be excited to see them. They probably have some of the best records in AEW and should be, getting their title shot by now. I think they're like 4-0.
Really? Well, I think they're just getting a build-up. Austin's only just come back from injury.
I was just joking about the, tables.
Yeah,
but
we don't get the rankings. The rankings don't mean anything. Yep. Initiative versus Sonny and Janela. Joe is squaring up again. He's losing a bit of that chunk.
Yeah.
Initiative's done better against teams like the Bucks and such like. Like they've had better scores against what I would argue are more powerful.
But you know that Sonny and Kiss don't give Sonny and Joey don't give anything to their opponents. When
I think this is the match I've cared the least about with the initiative in, and we froth about how much we love them. Anything to add to that, anyone, or should I roll into the next one?
Roll on for me.
Abaddon has worked on her strikes. She looks great. The next snap has to go, or she has to learn to jolt her head and move her hands with it, not move her hands to move her head. Yeah. And the finisher wasn't good. I want more Kyling King.
Oh, that's what I said to you as soon as I watched this. It's like, why are they feeding King to everyone? You could just protect her like Goldberg, and she'd be a fucking monster for that, division. But whatever. It's the women's league, isn't it?
I thought this was a good back and forth match, actually, especially with Abaddon. King showing the strength. Abaddon's obviously your one that was going over. Yeah. I didn't like some of the commentary with Taz, kind of ruined it a bit. Don't sit there going, oh, she's a person who likes zombies or loves zombies. No, you haven't talked to her backstage. You are too fucking scared to talk to this monster backstage. Even you, Taz. That annoyed me a little because I was like, you're hurting the character. She is your female Undertaker. The Undertaker was a dead zombie for fucking years.
But I don't know, because the commentators always put down Statlander as well, so it's sort of what they've always done.
She is a fucking alien as far as you're concerned.
I don't know. I kind of like that they're like, we're not sure about this person. I kind of like that, but that may be just my smart heart.
Oh, Morg's on Ruth's side because she's often like, but Statlander is an alien. I'm like, is she though?
I think she's just a crazy person.
I think she's just a crazy person. Yeah. I'm weirdly more buying the Abaddon thing.
Yeah.
A lot more of a committed role in the Abaddon situation.
Yeah, I get you.
Yes. But yeah, I gave that match a C.
Yeah,
I made sure I put notes for the women's match because I knew you'd turn around and ask me.
Women's expert, help us, women's expert. You watched NXT.
It was solid. I just don't like Kyling King being wasted when I think that they could have potential for a monster heel there or monster face that they could just protect,
Let's roll on and we'll keep... we've got lots to say about the women's.
Yes, Jack Evans versus QT.
God, I'm glad he's back. He's
great, isn't he?
Fucking good. The handstand kick to the head. I think there were a couple of little botches. And
it's a Jack Evans match.
I've got to say, you say you're so glad he's back, he's so good. Which one of the two of them are you talking about? Because I think QT is really good as well.
But he's boring, man. And I hate the...
QT's really good, but doesn't do anything that other people don't do better. He's got the sort of FTR moveset. I love his... backbreaker flatliner combo. It's fucking cool as shit.
But he's not at the harder level of a man that does everything perfectly that he does.
Whereas Jack Evans, he'll botch intentionally. Like he's got a thing where he'll fall into the rings in different ways if he's being too arrogant.
Springboard when he was off.
He arguably is the most spinny man in wrestling. Like I've seen clips of him doing 720 fucking flips shit. He's just very indie. He's just incredibly indie. No, but I do like QT. I just need him to go somewhere or his character to be more than Man with Apple.
Man with Apple is the worst character ever. Well, no,
it is
no, he is middle-aged crisis Man with Apple.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I mean, that has added to it, but we'll
but still.
Otherwise, a solid match. It got a bit weird and slow near the end. Like things looked a bit out of momentum, but there was a wicked pin. I had a good time. I'm happy to see both.
Enjoyed this match. Yeah,
I think it was really solid.
And for the health reasons, it's great to see QT back, and it's great to see that talent are able to get back into America, which makes me very excited. Exactly that.
Did we have anything much more to say other than pretty good?
Solid. So
because now I can get angry. Now I can get angry.
FTR.
So at the start of this match,
oh god, I know what you're complaining about.
Fucking start of this match, I saw Tully at the end of the tunnel. and went, oh, Tully's there. That's actually quite subtle. And he pulled his mask, and he was only there for a couple of seconds. And I was like, that's really subtle. I'm really glad they've done that.
But
then
no.
a minute later in the commentary, oh my God, was that Tully? Oh, why would they be speaking to Tully? Oh God, why would he be here? Four. And I was like, if you just left it, like when I watch a TV series, I'm more than capable of noticing things in the background. And you know what? If I don't notice it, someone else on the internet will notice it and put up a thing going, oh, did you see this? And then people will be like, oh, that's
really
clever.
Cool. Yeah.
That's really nice. And so, no, just fucking slap it in your face. You might as well have fucking, I don't know, make it even better. Have Sean Spears watching the match at the end as well. God damn it. Where
Such intrigue.
Oh, God. Otherwise, the match was solid. It was good. Yeah, I can't shit on the match.
No. FTR seem to be very solid in what they do.
So
match solid, storytelling weak.
My notes here is that the FTR gave a masterclass in how to make your opponents look good.
They are great in the ring.
I mean, for everything we've complained about coming up against these jobbers, you've got FTR, who are one of the top tier tag teams, have been brought in, and they made the other team look phenomenal.
But that's your job as a wrestler.
I think it's why I'm so angry about the story. Yeah. Like, even if you're not the most charismatic man on the mic, if you've got an interesting story, I can buy it, because you'll be in situations you don't understand or whatever, and I can follow the fucking visual media put in front of me. I don't need a man screaming every event into my fucking face like it's the new fucking Star Wars films.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. Moving on. Yeah, good match. They're great.
Yeah.
Just fucking give me better story.
It's the standard thing with Dynamite or any of their shows is it's fantastic and it's really good, but there are these niggling injuries that just like, why can't you do this? I know you can. You know?
Final match. The Butcher and the Blade versus Private Party, which had a win I did not expect, and I was very happy about.
You know.
Fuck me, the Butcher's getting big.
He's getting more chunk every fucking match.
Mate, he's just getting buffer. It's terrifying. There's still a lot of setup in Private Party moves, but I'm going to give him some fucking props. The silly string happened and got countered, and I was like, whoa. Asaya has worked on his ring persona. I've been referring to him as the Genetti, which I probably shouldn't anymore.
Not anymore.
Be a murderer. Google Marty Genetti if you're listening to this and you don't know about recent Marty Genetti events. But Asaya's improved his ring character. He had a lot more like actual fucking face and character work on.
Yeah.
It was a bit one-sided towards the Butcher and the Blade. I'd almost say that it could have gone a bit back the other way.
Yeah,
but
it
would
could
that
have been a bit more back and forth.
More setup moves? But otherwise, solid.
Maybe it's got to that point where they've realised, because Butcher and the Blade, I believe, have now been part of their AEW's highest-rated segment.
Oh yes, they have.
Yeah, they have.
Time now, so put them over. Thank God. People are coming to sense on how great the Butcher looks.
just shows what happens when you put people in the ring with the Young Bucks who are actually good.
Yeah. No, it's 100%.
You could have taken 5 minutes off that match and added it to the women's.
Yep, or put it on Hobbs and Sky as well.
Put it on Hobbs and Sky.
I think Hobbs and Sky suffered from not being long enough.
Mate, it hurt me because it started with that beautiful spine buster from Hobbs, and it was just like, oh, this is getting up, this is going real well. Then it was just over, and I was like, what?
And we're becoming quite Hobbs fanboys.
Yeah.
The wall.
I want to see the wall go for 20 minutes. No, 50 minutes with Sky.
The Hulk.
Solid dark.
Solid
I don't have to watch all of it. I'd give it like a C, like a high C.
It's a solid C, high C.
If you only get to watch a couple of them, watch probably Pinman and Griff versus FTR and Evans and QT, I'd say.
Yeah.
Those would be the top ones to watch. Oh, I'm doing Ones to Watch by Matthew Strange.
So we move on now to Dynamite. Dynamite opens Shivani, Taz, and JR on commentary. And we started with the first match, which is the Elite and FTR versus the Dark Order. Dark Order wins after Brody Lee hits Hangman with the discus clothesline. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
I said I dreaded this match last week.
I dreaded this match also.
I hated the idea.
Raptor said exactly the same thing, and I think all three of you are going to go in exactly the same direction.
Yep, and even going through my notes, I know because they had like 5 named members of Dark Order and 1 gimp.
The young lion.
My notes say "lol, a young lion."
Yeah, that's what. I'm guessing that he was, I'm guessing 10's arm's not as good as we thought it was, and he just wasn't ready for it. So they brought 9 in.
It wasn't a clusterfuck.
No.
No. I questioned the injury, whether it was an actual injury.
Oh, it was really well done.
It made me care. About halfway through my notes, I'm just like, Brody best win.
Yeah.
I've even noted that Brody's lariat, because it's a lariat, not a clothesline. You run into a clothesline, a lariat runs into you. But, is up there with Shingo's. It's not as good as Shingo's, but it's fucking great.
But he's too big. He is too big. We need to get a bigger ring for Brody Lee.
He needs a 24-footer, not 22-footer. He needs that extra step. If you pull him from one side of the ring, it's fine because he gets enough to stride. If you pull him from the middle, he has like little Daphne lip.
Yep. If you wanted to see the best bout machine Kenny Omega at any point during Dynamite, this is the match. He was fucking fantastic for those 5-10 minutes when he was on his own. Just the moves he was pulling out were great.
It made me care at the end, but with Hangman coming back and them actually defending each other. If I had to give a criticism, and I said this to you when we were watching it, there was a lot going on. I felt like I couldn't look away. I was trying to eat dinner.
Yeah.
And sometimes I had to look down at my fork to make sure there was food on it. And I'm properly shoveling. I've got eyes on the TV. And if I looked away, I'd be like, what did I miss? That would be my only problem.
My main problems was Tony Schiavone's weird lecturing over Anna Jay at the start. That was a bit weird. And FTR not obeying the fucking rules. They just kept running into the ring and they kept going on about their whole characters. We obey the rules.
They didn't have a tag rope.
They didn't obey any of the fucking rules either. Yeah. So
there are no rules.
No, I'm down with no rules. But if you bring in characters that explicitly say they follow rules and they don't, it's like, what's going on? But yeah, B+ for me.
I wrote down B/A for a multi-man, and then I thought about it, and when it meets every prerequisite I have when describing the tier list for an A. Yeah. The wrestling was phenomenal. There was no messing up. There was story going in, there was story going out, and there was a ending I didn't expect.
It was just so much going on.
From my own fucking premise, yeah. It feels like a B to me, but it should be an A.
For the amount of people in the ring, yeah.
You technically have the decider here.
Yeah.
Oh, see, now, I know what score I've given it, but I've been swung by your argument, Strange. So as they are, I gave it a B. I did, but Strange's argument and the fact that the other thing that makes me think it was an A. I appreciate you were saying it as a bad thing, but to me that was a good thing that you were having to shuffle you didn't want to take your eyes off the screen. That's a positive. It's your own fault for eating your dinner during a match that ended up being good. In the nicest way, but if you get my meaning.
But okay, I'll rephrase a little bit. It was a little bit hectic at times.
It was very hectic, but it was good for what it was. I was very happy, and it was a good show opener to actually show off the Elite.
I think we do give it an A.
Yep, fair enough.
On Breaking End as well. Rhodes looked like a beast. I believe in Brody again.
Yes, he looked so great when he was just sitting on top of the ropes with all his minions out.
Are they listening to our podcast? Because have you noticed we've had 2 heel wins?
I mean,
there have been a few times where things have gone in the way of things we've said, and I've been like, "Do you reckon?"
No,
they don't. I know. I know. I used to make up when I was 12. I used to write my own GW rules, and then they'd get released like 2 weeks later. It's just that coincidence. Yeah. But if you are listening, send me £1 million. Right?
No. If you're listening,
on.
just promote us and get people to come and listen to us. Moving on.
Just hire us.
So very, very short. Now, I noted this down because I had a feeling this was going to be important later. Best friends arrive in Trent Mum's van. I don't think we need to.
Did you ever think that would be important later? It's like you've watched a wrestling show before, Morg.
I know. So following on from that, we had a Mox video promo.
Moxing.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge Mox anymore because they're proven draw.
It's a nice, slightly different style of I didn't learn. I like the slight twist on the paradigm. Solid. Good moxing. I didn't rank it.
Good moxing.
It was good. We liked it, and more on that later. So next we had Proud and Powerful versus the Best Friends. Best Friends win when Trent hits, I'm going to say, a roll up, because that was effectively what it was. It was a bit more complicated than that. Yeah. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
My first comment was that car is fucked. It was nice to see Chuck get some ring time.
Oh, mate, the little Chucky T technical showcase at the start of the match. I was when he just going through all the not the basics, but selection. I was really happy because I always say he doesn't get enough time in the ring. There was a do-si-do. That was great. Brought me joy.
Yeah.
Trent is always amazing. He's just phenomenal. Like, I know Orange Cassidy's going to be...
DDTs for me.
Yeah, nobody could do a DDT finisher because of his tilt-a-whirl. It's too good. Look at your baby boy, Sue! I love Ortiz.
Yep.
The evil goblin. Santana's fucking phenomenal in the ring as well.
Yeah.
Chuck in a Falcon.
It was lovely to see them get 20 minutes, mate. That's what I thought.
Mate. The Falcon Arrows, I did miss Excalibur shouting, "It's the Falcon Arrow." It was just a good match. Santana doesn't know how many hit points Trent has. He hasn't learned that the hard way. I gave it a high B/A because we had phenomenal wrestling for 20 minutes with story coming in and out with a lead into a different one. Technically, according to the same scale I set by the 12-man tag, it's an A, which means if...
It's a B.
Shit.
It's a B by our... I would also give it an A, but it's a B because it's Best Friends. We can't upvote it.
But my scale... What did you think, Morg? We're obviously biased and love all those teams.
So I
love meta wrestling.
I had to think about this because I enjoyed this match, but I had to think about it, and I was like, I bet those two are going to give it an A. I gave it a B. I thought it was a solid B+.
I think we should legitimately give it a B, but put an A for if you're smarks. There we go.
So, following on from that, we had an MJF video promo. Did you give it a rank? What did you think of it?
Oh, he's a heel. Oh, he's a heel.
It was fine. I see they've... is it AJ? It's not AJ Lee. It's something Lee. Is AJ Lee's a woman's wrestler in WWE?
Or that's is it AJ CM Punk's wife.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that other African-American wrestler who's been on, I assume, African-American POC. I'm sorry for not knowing. Lee, who's eaten a lot of shit. He's working for MJF now. So they're giving the other little wrestlers places and other stories to bring them through by the look of it. Or they're just dubbed in.
Yeah.
It was solid MJF-ing. If I'm going to have to start saying that about Mox, I'm going to have to start saying it about MJF. I had a good time. The Derby bit at the end was actually was
the emo bit,
that's what that was the pop for it.
Yeah, that sold it to me. Going, oh no,
you're not an emo kid. Otherwise, just good MJF. What we expect.
Yep.
Following on from that, we had a Matt Hardy in-ring promo with Sammy Guevara coming out. Guevara coming out and throwing a chair at Matt. So yeah, what did you think about the promo and the segment in the whole?
My gimmick hasn't worked. I'm giving it up. The promo.
I'm just going to read through my 5 notes in order.
Yep.
Multiverse going.
Yep.
I knew you'd come. That's nice.
Yep.
Matt just wants to work with the kids. oh fuck that chair throw, and that's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Those
was,
are.
Jesus, Matt, too much blood.
I don't know about the Matt promo. It was fine, I suppose. He basically walked out and went, "Yo, I'm dropping the gimmick because people don't like it," and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. But he's very meta. It's been meta from start to finish. I don't know. It might have crossed my smart line.
Yeah.
And then it led into a Sammy feud, which is now going to be bigger. So remember when we discussed can injury be good for story? It's not good.
But it's enhanced this.
Yes.
I think he didn't need to go, I'm dropping all my gimmicks. I think, you could have just naturally done that without a bit to say it, if you know what I mean. Just not saying it's exposing the business, because,
Is Matt Hardy going to be as over without all the meta jokes?
No. Because he's a man he's a man that can't go made of sawdust, mate.
They're trying to appeal to the more Cornetti make things realistic crowd, but if you're appealing to people who aren't going to watch it, if you don't have anything else to do, I give up the people who like what I'll have to see. Morg, did you like it, please?
I thought it was interesting. I liked the way it was done with the suggestion that he listens to what the fans say. That this isn't working as much. The problem is that you can't do Broken Matt without doing the true Broken Universe, and they haven't done the Broken Universe. We haven't gone off to the Hardy Ranch, which they did when they started with Jericho. The stuff that they did with Jericho
was fantastic,
and that was why Sammy isn't facing Broken Matt back at the Hardy Ranch, which doesn't even need to be back at the Hardy Ranch.
I don't know why they didn't just commit to it. It's like, Broken Hardy will be over as soon as the fans are back. The only issue with it right now is there's no fans to react to it, so it's a bit weird watching.
There's a lot of grumpy men on the internet.
The other problem is the thing that broke it was the video on YouTube of this bad B-movie wrestling match that everyone went, "This is terrible." Oh no, actually, this is really good. So I don't understand.
Weird that
go on.
Sorry. Go on. I got excited. Finish your sentence. I'll go after.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Carry on.
One of you talk.
Is it weird that AEW essentially brought the cinematic matches in?
Yep.
They got popular. Dubsy copied it, and now AEW is dropping it whilst Dubsy is still doing it.
Doing awful ones now.
Yeah.
You've got to know that you play for your audience. You've got to get in and get out in the wrestling business. Like, the tried and told story of wrestling is people keep going on things for too long. Stars go on for too long past their time and shit like that. So getting in and getting out's a good idea. But what else are you going to do with Matt Hardy?
I think I can sum this promo up for us.
Yeah. You make him the babyface version of Chris Jericho. You make him the babyface veteran. Okay. The young babyface veteran. Yeah. He has the easiest gimmick because he just basically plays what he is.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to rank this for all of us, as we've had quite a bit of discussion, as a highly ranked. Yeah. We're not sure.
We need to see where it's going.
Yeah.
And please recover well, Matt.
Well, the next part of promo, which is the feud I am most here for this year.
So
Sue shouldn't have joined the Dark Order. I'm just saying.
Santana and Ortiz destroy Trent's mum's van. Where are the members of the Dark Order?
Yeah.
I hope they bring that up. I bet they'll bring that up on Dark at least, and I hope it's brought up in the main story. There is nothing more Chuck Taylor than this feud. No. If you've ever seen anything about Chuck, he used to come out to the Pete and Pete entrance music. He constantly acts like he's in one of those weird 90s like kids comedy sitcoms, the ones that were just a bit too weird to be just like wholesome fun. Things like Round the Twist and shit like that. A feud over smashing up Trent's mom's car is the most best friends thing I can think of, and I am 100% here for it.
I'm glad they'll give something for Santana and Ortiz to do, It's nice that they've suddenly blown up from all their frustrations over losing, that they've just done something to remind us that they're, heels.
A couple of street thugs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is their gimmick.
Against somebody's basically your best friends. Like, I still hang out with my oldest friend Jay, and when I go to hang out around his house, it's like I'm 14 again. Me and him sat in his house watching videos and stuff. If I went to his mom's, I'm still really nice and they'll give me lift play. That's their gimmick. They're like us when we're sat with each other talking about shit and normal life things against
normal people. Yeah,
normal people against street thugs. I love it.
Yeah,
it's the most wrestling storyline I've seen.
Yeah, I am down for it. So following on from that, I have a coughing fit. Following on from that, Silver and Reynolds versus Cody and Matt Cardona. Cardona wins when he hits the radio silence, formerly I like the name of the finisher. I shall explain why afterwards. Formerly the Rough Rider. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
It was really solid.
It wasn't great putting over Matt Cardona, though, was it? It put over 3 and 4 more than Matt Cardona.
Mate, their fucking sequence into a pin was fucking boss.
Yes, mate.
Like, all the they're so good. This is where we've coined the new house term of masochism man, which is what Ruth called Cody. Kick me, I'll grow stronger. Does Cody have to eat just an unreasonable amount of shit in any tag match he's in? Is that just like his need? Other than that, it was solid, good.
I would like to have seen a bit more of Matt Cardona.
Yeah, no, he was really good when he got in for the last 2 minutes of watching Cody eat shit for 90% of the match.
For the 90 minutes that Cody was in there. Just went on, didn't it?
I think he bled.
I can't believe Cody is jobbing for 3 and 4. Was my first comment.
He ate so much shit.
Yeah. I think Matt Cardona definitely has the it factor. Just looking at him, he looks like a star now. He's so built and he's so, rugged, good-looking man. I just think they should have given him a bit more. I think it was a bit too much Cody and a bit less Matt Cardona. I don't know.
He got the hot tag. You've got a bit of ring rust first. He was never the greatest wrestler. He gets over on that thing you've just said. That's what he is. He is much more in the mold of a Hulk Hogan. He's much more talented than Hogan was back in those days. But he's that mold. He is a look and a charisma, a lovely guy. Hogan in Japan was different to Hogan in America. Just to give credit where it's due.
Okay, yeah,
actually
whatever.
True.
Let's go for the actually Hogan did well in a Japan line. But no, Hogan knew what he was doing, And
yeah.
Politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Cardona's got that star.
He's got that star power. He's just needs
to build level. Best not slow down my boy Brady Pierce, though.
The only thing I felt bad about was I gave this match a C, and I felt giving You gave it a
C as well.
I gave it a C, but I was going to give it a B for the Beaver Boys because I really enjoyed their bits, but it was a C.
Yeah, I gave it a C. I felt bad giving a Cody match a C, but he's been our B ring general now for a long time. I'm sure it'll come back when he's in a solo match.
Yeah, true. Oh God, this is only our third match.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep talking over you.
Following on from that, we had the Best Friends video promo, which I think we've just pretty much covered, unless there's anything more you want to talk about this.
No.
Your new favourite feud.
As a combined storyline introduction, it's an A.
Yeah. After that, we had Orange Cassidy and Jericho's debate, and the guest moderator is Eric Bischoff.
I popped.
Eric Bischoff.
Lad.
I popped when I realised who it was after I'd accidentally, because they had the adverts up, which means if you watch it on Fight TV, you have to put up with the Dynamite theme music. So I generally skip through that.
God, I hate that
because
so
I'm on
much.
the PlayStation. It's very difficult to pick your spot, and I slightly overskipped. Saw generic old dude with grey hair, skipped back and went, "Oh, it's Ricky Steamboat."
I mean,
And I
I
was
would have popped for Ricky Steamboat.
I'd have popped for Ricky Steamboat,
mate.
but that didn't make as much sense. When I saw it was Bischoff, I was like,
Yeah.
actually, yes, I like this.
I don't know enough about old wrestling to know if Bischoff is a good or a bad thing.
Bischoff was good until he went mental. Basically, he got too much power and went crazy. Basically, his initial push was good for around a year and a bit, and then he went mental and put the NWO too mad. Basically,
He is at the Paul Heyman levels of actually understanding what to do. And Vince McMahon, to be fair, Paul Heyman being my personal favorite because he accentuates the positive sides, the negatives.
Yeah.
Bischoff is good, but what Bischoff is particularly good at is he doesn't care. He will eat shit. As far as he's concerned, it is a job. He will go out there and he will do what you ask him to do, and he will do it really well.
Can't wait till he's next week.
I think he shouldn't come back unless it's like a very rare appearance, but I really enjoyed just seeing him for this one-off. If it continues and we see Bischoff every week, I'll be upset, but, right now, I'm high on Bischoff.
For the actual review of this, I'm not sure why we had a debate. We seem to have a debate and a presidential campaign going on, which I appreciate.
It was a bit weird, wasn't it?
It's feeling a bit debatey. I didn't get that, but I did write down Jesus Christ, Eric Bischoff. Yeah. The actual debate was actually pretty good. I had some fun. The promo game was solid. I enjoyed.
We've got to talk about how good Jericho looked in that suit first of all. God, he was poured into it. He looked beautiful. Now that is actually a suit that'd be worth that $7K, not that horrible white thing. You look great.
I haven't got any of my normal men I compliment on my list in
No.
this week. No. Like normally it's the Butcher's beautiful, Sky's beautiful, Ricky Starks is beautiful. Those are like my 3 man compliments. He looked great.
I love how the suit keeps getting worse. It keeps getting degraded more. It just turns more and more orange and disgusting.
It's the demon orange juice.
Yep.
Solid wrestling 90s cardiness. I gave it a B.
I like that Orange did was it Old School, that Will Ferrell film where he just does the answer to the one question super well. Yeah, it's just carny shit, ain't it? It's solid. I loved it, but it's just carny shit, ain't it? Yeah,
good carny shit.
I loved OC's bit at the end. I thought that was great, though. The bit about him going, "You will be the guy that lost to, Orange Cassidy, the guy that puts his hands in his pockets." I thought that was real solid, though.
Yeah, I thought as a build-up to Orange's first big proper promo, which is what this was really, I thought it was very good. And I think I gave it a C/B, edging more towards a B. I've actually written it as a small C and a big B because I wasn't sure. But thinking about it, I wasn't sure if I was just marking out for little bits, but thinking about it now, as the setup to Orange's first big proper promo, verbal
to show
promo,
that he isn't just a comedy character.
Yeah, and it was a cracking promo where he basically went, "Yeah, you're going to be the guy who loses to the comedy wrestler."
Yeah,
the comedy wrestler who we have seen over the past few weeks is actually a really good wrestler. I mean, we've said for a long time, the guy who puts his hands in his pockets and does those moves is actually probably as good as.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I also like that there's some character development because I was really worried they were going to go nowhere with OC and just keep dragging him out, going, "Look, it's him again," and this is nice. Some character development.
Characters have to evolve.
Yeah, so I gave it A, but that was me.
Two B's and an A. B it is.
Yeah.
Which is going to get balanced by this next section.
No, it's not.
So the Britt Baker promo, which leads on to Rebby versus Big Swole.
Fuck off this bit. Come on. You can do better.
D as a match. I did give it C as a spot to get to where it wants to go, but it was only just getting there.
Jesus Christ.
To be honest, it really deserves an E or even an F.
Yeah.
Because this was and more on this later, this was our women's segment.
We get a women's segment that's freaking... Red Bull was really good at this.
Not just that, she was all right in the ring. She had power moves and shit.
Yeah, no, she's
Good
good.
of a moonsault.
Yeah.
And yet, apparently, Britt will send her assistant, who isn't a wrestler, on a whim out to fight somebody as the stepping stone. That doesn't make any sense in story. Britt's not a
Monster
moron.
heel. Yeah, where was her monster heel to like defeat her or weaken her before she had to fight her? It was bollocks.
Then Rebby acted like she didn't know how to wrestle and was like really surprised when she did a moonsault.
Yeah,
Like if she was pulling off stunners and some things, maybe I'd be more forgiving. But
moonsault are hard.
Over shoulder slams and shit.
Yes,
The
mate.
moveset was good. That was a good moveset. That's better than some of the women we've seen on top.
100%, mate. Some of the
And then
better.
it was over. Oh, she acted surprised. Oh god, I've accidentally flipped through 360 degrees backwards from this 6-foot post. 5-foot post.
Do that. Oh, fuck off.
Hey,
Fuck off, show. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll rant about that later.
Yeah.
So then we move on to our main event, which is Darby Allin versus Mox for the AEW Championship. Mox wins with the paradigm shift. I want to know what you guys think of this. What rank did you give this match? I think we are going to differ here.
The opening punch was phenomenal.
Yes.
And if that opening punch had ended the match, I'd have honestly given it an S. Because I'd have fucking shit my pants. I don't like squashes.
No.
I do think that punch probably landed a bit more because Darby was bleeding almost instantly. He legit punched him. Yeah. Darby Allin will never wrestle as long as Randy Orton. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, fuck me.
I can't say that comment. Ruth said something to me and I wrote it down, and it's one of the forbidden wrestlers. It was solid. After MJF did the clonk, it actually picked up. I got a lot better to the end. The coffin drop.
That Darby throw off the stage was fucking painful to watch.
Oh, mate. Yeah,
mate, yeah. I'm not here to watch a Jackass show. If I wanted to watch Jackass, I'd watch Jackass. Look after yourself, mate.
That phenomenon is over now. I started slow. Not a big Mox fan.
No.
Picked up after the MJF hit, which also tied into some story and made it better. I don't like the fact that the coffin drop can't hit you if it lands like, vertically up your body. If it lands
to be like perfectly landed, or it doesn't do any damage.
Yeah.
It either kills you or it's nothing. It's so weird
I thought that was a bit shit, and I think it's showing a weakness in what was originally portrayed as a very dangerous finisher that a man shouldn't have to do very often.
No.
In my heart, it's a C. But to be fair to my own scale, you'll notice I'm trying to obey my own scale a bit more. It had story, and it should be a B. For me, it's a C. I'm ranking it a B.
I would also agree with that, apart from I'd give it a D for my own personal taste, because I find these two wrestlers boring. But they're so over, and they're so good for the show, I'm happy to give it a B, because I realise it's not for me, it's for someone else, and I can be an adult about it and say, yeah, it was B, and it was solid.
Or more.
So B/A, the A edged in just because of the storytelling in the match that was set up previously in that Mox promo. That's why I said I wanted to come back to this later. That whole idea that Darby is just not going to go down no matter what. Mox throughout it going, no, when I tell you, I don't want to do this to you. I don't want to do this to the kid who I see as being the future, the person who's had my back, I've had his back. That storyline, I have been very invested in the two outsiders that have each other's back storyline that has made sense to me since day one when I turned around to the Raptor and went, the one person who should run in for the other one of these two is the other one, because they're the two people that have no friends. That has been their gimmick. So it makes perfect sense that the person who will watch your back is the other one. I'm happy to downgrade that to a B, but yeah, I really, me and the Raptor both absolutely.
We were just on story.
Really enjoyed that story.
The wrestling's so poor. I'm sorry, it's just so poor.
It was hard. I don't mind I don't mind a stiff worked, slightly Jackass style. Dangerous
match. A stiff match, but it's got to be well done. I'm sorry, but I watch NJPW. I'll watch a stiff match.
I just think Mox is a bit slow.
He's slow and he's made of sawdust.
His inverted throw thing is fucking kick-ass, though. I've got to give him that.
He's
The
great.
one where he just lobs them
He
upside
gets
down.
over with people really well, and he's great for the show, but he's just not for me. So
Yeah.
I'm just,
So overall, what are we giving Dynamite this week?
it was
We've
great.
got
Absolutely
1A,
great.
1C, 1D, and 3 Bs. I think it's a B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great show. Absolutely great
Good
show.
show. Definitely worth a watch.
100%. Skip the women's match.
Oh, yeah.
More on that later.
It's only 3 minutes. Doesn't fucking matter. You can sit through it.
So now is the time when normally we would ask for questions. This week we do not have any questions. If you want to send us questions, stuff for us to rant about, you want to give us your thoughts, anything else, we are wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Now, this is the time when normally we would get Mr. Strange to get angry about something. And we would
Today,
have a
I'm
rant
not
of
the
the week.
angriest. Dad, in our production call, I'm taking over for this because this is normally my moment. Normally, I would be angry about something. There's a few weeks where I'm not angry, but this week when we were discussing what I was angry about, I was mid-tier angry. But these two fuckers got real angry. So I'd like to announce our first week's Rantscussion. Half rant, half discussion about the booking and current state of the AEW women's division.
Fuck me.
Who's the most angry? Go on, boys.
Like, as we were discussing earlier, I've watched a lot of Stardom this week, which, if you don't know, is probably the leading Joshi, which is Japanese female wrestler division. And watching that and then going back to fucking watching AEW women's matches is fucking appalling.
If you're scared of foreign people, Stardom does have more Eurocentric people and American people like Bea Priestley, Jamie Hayter, and actually Medusa Complex, who Charlie Evans, who trained me, is currently there, I think, as well. Oh, no, she's in Australia, but she has been there.
Basically,
carry on. I'm just going to add context to your weaving.
No worries. Basically, I'd recommend that anybody that was a female wrestler would go for a year in Stardom or a year somewhere like that to go get actually good. But like, I watched Rio, AMZ, and Starlight Kid. Well, you know Rio. And it was like a phenomenal S-tier match. It was probably the best match I've seen this year. And it's just going back to this AEW, and it's just so painful to watch. It's almost like you shouldn't even have them on the show at the moment for like how bad the ones they're putting forward is betrayed. I don't know.
And he was in Stardom. Ruin your point. I'm gonna stop you weaving for a second to pass us over to our angry goth, like a quick rant.
How much WCW has Khan watched? Because this is my issue at the minute. This show is getting too WCW and not when it was good NWO. We're still having a great... We've just given Dynamite a B.
Yeah.
But there's just so much WCW in it. All these old stars are coming out as... Okay, they're coming out as mentors, etc. But... stop doing all the WCW that feel. I know you're trying to be different to WWE, and I know you're going for that much more Southern wrestling feel, but you're not. You should be going for that. You should be pushing it more down that New Japan feel, because that's where your top tier stars came for. And for fuck's sake, stop giving the women 3 minutes of bullshit. We could have had. Why wasn't Abaddon on the main card? She is a character. Why was she on Dark? Yes, she's a little bit green, but
they're all
she
green.
Is a
Let's be honest here.
Character.
But you can protect green. It doesn't matter if you're green.
You don't have to be in a match.
No,
to be
you can just be
on Dark. Not to be a moment on the show.
You could just have a segment where she attacks someone backstage, or just build a fucking character. Jesus Christ, it's not rocket science, is it, boys? Come on.
Yeah, just have somebody walk into a darkened room and just have her appear out of nowhere, like the thing, like from a turn her into a Japanese horror character. That's what she effectively is. Just have her start appearing on TV screens in the background during the Best Friends. But just have her appearing on TV screens in the background when you're... I'm turning this into a booking. Yeah. So I would have a best friends promo where they're there setting up their bit, and I would just have a television screen in the background and just with smoke, I just have her face appear and disappear in it and start setting that type of stuff up.
Shit tier 80s horror movie stuff.
Yes.
It's wicked. It's worked for years. She gets a fucking light effect when she comes. I mean, I was letting you boys rant because I actually have this weird personality problem where if other people get angry, I get more amused. So I'm having a great time right now. Yeah, fucking give us some horror gimmick. Just build up anything. Fuck me, I'd take Kylan King shouting about some stuff backstage and seeing as, she's quite confident to shout at the mic and stuff. You don't have to throw her into a mainstream match. She's still a bit clumsy for it. That's cool. I appreciate you want to polish her up. Build the characters, build the personality.
Just to put them on, like I was saying, you ain't going to compete with Stardom for the quality of wrestling you're going to get with your current card. Just have them do skits. Just build the fucking character. It's not hard. Just
I have been saying ideally that's what this tag league is for.
We did not need that 3-minute, or the thing with Rebby should have been that secretly she's a wrestler. Not, oh my God, I'm not. She should have been like, Swole should have been like, all right, I'll beat up you. Oh, what the fuck? Where did
she
this
can actually
come
wrestle? And then take us to like 20 minutes or something.
And then Swole could have won. It could have just been a 5-minute match, but it could have been a 5 minutes of Swole getting beaten down and just managing to get. And she's got the Dirty Dancing is one of those from out of nowhere moves.
Finishers,
Yeah, it would have been a perfect way. You'd have got the move over. She'd have beaten somebody that was worth it.
We'd have a new character.
We'd have Britt going, oh, fuck, that didn't work.
There goes my sneaky plan. Instead of it just being, oh, look, Brett now looks like a moron.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Basically, you buried all your characters. You spent ages building Britt up as this smart but asshole-ish character. Now you've built her up to be a dumb character. Oh, it's so painful.
It could have been her Wardlow.
Tony Khan needs to stop watching WCW, old runs of WCW, which I know he's a big fan of. And the another point as you could have had, you could have had Shida out there. You could have had anything out there. You just build up something.
Shida's just in the crowd, mate. You don't want your women's world champion on TV.
When you're drawing these things for the tag team, drawing the colours for the tag team, that should be on Dynamite. Make me go to YouTube to watch it, but do all those drawings on Dynamite. Both of the ones from last week should have been on Dynamite because you had 2 surprises, inverted commas, with Taya and with former Cameron, whose name I can't remember. When she wrestled under her real name. You did one of them. You should have done the other one. Those should be on Dynamite each week.
Morg, I'm just going to stop you for a second and take you back to something you were saying before that rage burst. Why would Shida be on the show? It's not like she's the champion and made an open challenge for anybody to come fight her.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you don't even get me started. Why the hell have you not at least gone? Her dad works for you, for fuck's sake. There is one woman out there who you should have on the show to come and do an open.
Get your camera back on.
I can appreciate that if you are going to try and get, and I'm having a bit of a mental blank here, Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
If you don't want to just push her as a one-off thing to come in for a one-off match, and the whole open challenge thing is really Cody's gimmick at the minute, which he's doing really well.
I don't know why they.
Yeah, but they did declare it. She did say she'd fight anybody who challenged.
Just put anybody on.
Why hasn't he? Why hasn't she? Yeah, why didn't she? Why didn't Evie come out?
Can carry someone to a good match. Anna Jay has had 10 matches and she looked fucking amazing against Shida to the point that Meltzer thought that she was some sort of prodigy. Just give Shida someone to fight.
You could have given her Evie. You could have had the follow-on from the Diamante one. You could have had Shida come out and gone, oh yeah, I brushed her off. You could have had Evie come out. You could have had Evie have a match against her.
Anything, mate.
Then that would have preset you up for the for the Evie Diamante tag team that's obviously going to happen.
Yeah.
I just quickly jumping back to tag team thing. One thing I did like, and I forgot to mention it when we were discussing the
go
tag
on.
team, I did like Ali looking for the color in the while they were distracted to make sure that they were a team. I did actually like that. I thought that made me smile. I giggled and went, that was good heel work and made sense.
But she's the baby face of their team.
Yeah, apparently.
God, it hurts.
I mean, and for this week, we've given lots and lots of C's and B's out. I'm trying to think.
To the women, we haven't.
But what you could have cut down to throw Ishida in this week might have been a difficult one, and there was a lot of good stuff in this week.
Doesn't matter. As much as I love the best friends, we don't need to see them 5 times. I love them, but you could have given
even I. I'm with Nick here. I could have taken less Chucky for
for an actual. And also, you're doing the thing that Games Workshop's currently doing with their Space Marine range. They're only releasing good male tag team matches, AEW, so they're getting all the draw. So when you put on the women's match and you do a shit match, it gets bad reviews and it loses viewers. So then that goes back into it going, oh, well, women matches lose viewers, so we won't put them on. It's just the same thing. It's counteractive booking, which is burying the women's league. You need to put on...
publicly owned companies are trash.
No, it's poor booking that's going to pay off with them going, oh, well, women don't draw, which they can. You just need to book them well and make it look like they don't, so they won't bother putting any effort into it. So it'll get worse. It'll be a compounding issue, and it's just very frustrating.
In recent history, there has been 2 situations whereby a women's division has very much propped a company up.
Next take.
TNA first, when they had the knockouts, and the knockouts division was the thing after the X division. It was the knockouts division everyone was watching, and I believe the knockouts was just before the Hogan Bischoff thing, and so of course it got completely got rid of. If I remember correctly, the knockouts was the thing most people were watching it for, and NXT. When we had the 4 horsewomen, and you had these 4 women that were just having phenomenal matches, and to the point where one of the best storylined matches and heartwarming moments. We've had 2 of the Mae Young Classics. They have both been really good.
But it's proven that Rio and Yuka were both draws. They both increased ratings when they were on the show. It's just that you're booking bad points. Like that Britt Baker bit was just fucking terrible. I'm not surprised that like 93,000 people turned off. It was awful.
Oh, he's our ratings boy now. He's been watching. He's learning from Mean Magoo.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? But that's not a good thing. Right. It's going to make people go, oh, women's wrestling isn't worth watching because it's this shit, basically, when it can be fantastic, and it's just very frustrating.
Hopefully the women's tag tournament, when it's got past the qualifying rounds straight into the semi-finals, we will actually get some big show and pop, and they'd best put the fucking finales on Dynamite. If it's all on YouTube, I'll be a bit pissed off.
I'm trying to work it out. It might... So...
I'm guessing it finishes at All In.
I think it might finish. Yeah, I think it might be set to finish then. I'm not sure. I'd have to go and look at my calendar and do the actual maths.
I think
it does work out to drop it All In.
I'm gonna have to wait to see which
all
team I
we
think
need to see is what happens is for one of the mystery draws. It's Bree Priestley and fucking Jamie Hayter because they've lost the start. They've lost the Stardom tag team belts, so they're coming over here. Come on, boys.
Have you seen how in shape Jamie Hayter is lately?
Yes,
she's
mate.
Fucking... Sorry. Hi there. I'm not actually particularly angry, and these guys have pretty much done all the ranting, so I'm going to say Jamie Hayter's going to be the next fucking big thing. I love her, and British rock pub girl is just a fucking gimmick I can get behind.
No, it's just very frustrating when you can, like, you should just be keeping it to like segments at the moment. Your best part of your roster's off, and the part you've got is very green, apart from Sheeta and Penelope. Just look after your talent and keep them safe. Don't overexpose people. You know, it's not rocket science.
If the finals of this tag team are Brandy and Ali versus Jamie and B, and Jamie and B lose, I'm going to scream. I'd scream for hours.
Yeah, there's no point. There would be no point watching AEW women. That's
I believe this is going to go down the route that they're the only team that have gone in as a tag team.
Yeah, but they've got the lose in the final.
I am still on my. This is they're going to do exactly the same as happened with the women's tag belts. When it was the only one that was actually a women's tag team were the ones that won it.
I will actually hate it.
I am hoping we get a surprise like when we first had Pac against Omega and Pac won.
Yeah.
Nobody expected that. That's what I'm going for.
If they let Brandy and Ali go over, it's the worst possible decision.
They should actually fall apart in the final, and you can make two new stars against them.
Yeah.
Right. Are we ranted out?
I'm ranted out. Basically, protect your stars. Like you haven't got,
good one.
Yeah. You haven't got your best stars in at the moment, so protect the ones you have because they'll be your future.
Yeah. If you do have suggestions for women's wrestling and you are a women's, why not consider joining AEW Heels for $49.99 a year? This will allow you to speak with different female wrestlers, and I know people have a lot of freedom with their gimmicks, so maybe you could make some suggestions to them and help build this industry and get those women some more attention. Sorry,
we're not allowed to, and I don't have a problem with that. I think this is a brilliant thing.
I think it's a great thing also.
I think it's a fantastic thing.
And if you do want to watch decent female wrestling, watch Stardom. It's fucking amazing. It's well worth that 920 yen a month.
So I'd like to say thanks to Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. We are Wrestleopinionated on Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. Mr. Muir.
Right, if you want to send us any stuff, we'd love to rant about what you want to talk to us about or whatever. Please send it into wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter if you have anything to say, and look after yourselves out there. On to you, Strange.
Yeah, cheers for listening to this. Please do like, share, subscribe on whatever platform you're on. If you have wrestling fans, please plaster our stuff all over their walls. Click the little bell button if you're on YouTube. I don't know what that does, but I know it exists. And get more friends into wrestling. Make them listen to us. Hopefully you've enjoyed our cynical views, and do send in extra things as was asked for.
Always
cynical. Especially Tris, always cynical. So yeah, cheers, like, share, subscribe, all the usual jam. Back to you, Morg.
All left to be said, goodbye and good night.